Hi, everybody, and welcome to a new feature of the What I'm Playing series. We're going to do a little bit of a video for you here, walk you through how the deck works, and then we'll play probably 5 matches just to show how it works and show it in some different situations, and we'll just add it to the write-up at the end. So if you like our content here, thank you for watching it, first of all, but also be really great if you could share it and like it and all that kind of stuff. And then also, if you have the means, support us on our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/cardspodcast. Or you can enter our giveaways that we have going on right now if you follow the stream, which is twitch.tv/Ben Myers. We are going to have giveaways of physical cards packs on there. We have one left to go. That will be Mondays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then if you are a Patreon member, you also get entered in those giveaways. And the final way you can pick up one of those physical cards packs is through a content creation contest, which there's more details on the website. So anyway, let's get to the deck we're playing this week. We're playing some ramp. And you can see the deck up here at the top. I'll rifle through it and kind of talk about some of the high points here, and then we'll talk about each card while we're playing later on. The deck is based around this card right here, the War Machine. 2 credit American order and very simple line of text: gain 1 extra credit slot. And when you see this in action, you'll be impressed by how big of a difference that can be and how much that can snowball out of control and put you in a powerful position when you're playing an opponent. Actually going back to that first screen, another big card that we have here is Enemy Spotted, which is a special American countermeasure for 1 credit. If your enemy captures the front line, draw 3 cards. Other than mobilization, there's no cards in the game that draw 3 cards on their own except for Enemy Spotted. And the 1 credit and the surprise factor of it make it actually a pretty potent card that not a lot of people see coming. And since it doesn't affect their units directly, they don't really notice how much of a difference it makes in this deck. So that's our first screen. Going on to our second screen, Naval Bombardment is really a mini sweeper that keeps our HQ pretty healthy in the early game, which we're going to need. M16 Half Track does a similar thing. We'll see some of these other ones, but I really want to talk about is Black Watch, which is a new one that I just picked up for this deck. Special British Infantry, 4 deploy, 1 to operate. It's a 2/4. It has Fury and Guard, and on deployment, orders an enemy hand cost 2 more. And this card is a big bridge card that we're trying to play. When we play the War Machine, we skip over turn 3 and we go right to turn 4. And this is a big bridge that strands some cards in the opponent's hand, gives us a little bit of a tempo boost, and also can pick off some charging Japanese infantry or German infantry that may have gotten the jump on us in the first couple of turns with both the guard ability and then Fury to attack twice and clean up some stuff that might be giving us trouble. We only have 1 copy of it in it, or only 1 copy in here. I also have played this deck with Ultra in this spot. Which is a British countermeasure, and we'll bring it up here so everybody can take a look at it. A British countermeasure for 4 credits, and it's an elite card. Counter an enemy order and draw a card. The reason why I'm going with Black Watch instead of Ultra in this spot is Black Watch is a little proactive as opposed to Ultra, which is more reactive, and this deck really needs proactive cards in that 4 slot. And speaking of proactive cards, an elite card that I definitely recommend picking up if you are into playing ramp is the P40N5. I got really lucky and opened one, and it fits into this deck beautifully. American Fighter, 4 deploy, 2 to operate. It's a 4/4, and units deployed by the enemy have +2 operation cost. Again, we're trying to bridge between our early ramp and our late game haymakers, and P40 and 5 is a really big part of that because it really slows down a lot of decks. This takes care of the units, Blackwatch takes care of the orders. The last one I'll talk about on this screen, I guess we'll talk about a lot of the planes here, and the planes are pretty strong right now. P38 Lightning looks a little innocuous, but it's really an important card in this deck, and mostly because of this 5 hit points that it brings to the table. That 5 hit points is going to outclass almost every other fighter until you get to the late game. So this thing is kind of a 2-for-1 in the bottle. It's going to take multiple attacks by a fighter, or it's going to take an order and a fighter out of an opponent's attack ability and kind of give you a 2-for-1 without trying too hard. It's 4 deploy, 2 to operate, 3/5 fighter, and your bomber units have +1 attack. Goes really well with the HMS Illustrious, goes really well with some of the other cards that we're going to talk about in a little bit. Another one that's, again, a pretty high on the rarity scale is the RAAF Lightning F4, 5 deploy, 2 to operate, 3/4. It's a British fighter, and on deployment, send an enemy unit to its owner's hand. So if something's harassing you in the front line, the Lightning gets rid of it and gives you some breathing space that you're going to need. Then we have the Spitfire Mark 5 or MK5 with 6/6 British fighter, 6 to deploy, 2 to operate, and just a vanilla fighter, just packs a ton of punch, similar to the P40. It's going to chew up probably 2 cards out of your opponent's deck. The other ramps order that we have in here is We Can Do It. 6 cost American order. Give your units an HQ +3 defense, gain 1 credit slot, and draw a card. So this is kind of the War Machine's big brother, well, big sister, and she really makes a difference because you might have to chew through some of your early game units to keep the pressure down, and this heals those units, plus it heals your HQ a little bit, and just is kind of, and draws you cards. So it's kind of a Swiss Army knife order that really makes this deck go. Our big finisher is the big B-17 Flying Fortress, 8 American bomber, 8 deploy, 3 to operate. 6/6 bomber, heavy armor, 1 deployment, destroy a random enemy unit. If you haven't seen this card yet in action, it's fantastic, and if you're playing this kind of deck, you really want to drop some bombs at the end. No pun intended. Well, pun intended, because we also have carpet bombing in here. 8 cost British order, deal 3 damage to all enemy units. This is pretty much the closest thing you're going to find to a no-nonsense sweeper in the game. It catches you up because you're going to be behind when you're playing your ramp in the early game. This is a 4 or 5-for-1 usually, especially when you're playing against aggressive decks. So that's the deck, and let's get into some battle action. So our first game with the deck here, when you draw your opening hand, you definitely want the War Machine in it and Blackwatch or a P40 in your hand. These other 2 we don't actually want right now, and you name, good to see you, good luck. We're gonna use this for the stream. Well, we've played you name on the stream. One thing that we're a little bit in danger of right now is we don't have a lot of cards in hand. We would definitely like to, and we're going to play our War Machine after UNAM has played the 33rd Recon Regiment. So now we have played the War Machine, we're up to 3 credits, we're going to jump right to 4 and get our Blackwatch down. So that's a really good start that we want to see. The one thing we have to be careful of while UNAM plays the A5 M4 Claude and moves the 33rd Recon Regiment up to the front line, One thing we have to be careful of is running out of cards, and that's kind of where we want to see enemy spotted in our opening hand. But right now, we're going to drop our Black Watch, which is going to slow down hopefully everything that you name is going to try and do here, while also protecting our HQ. We'll pass the turn. Then next turn, we're looking to drop our AAF Lightning F4 to bounce the probably the most powerful thing that Uname's going to play right here. And we're happy to just sit here and absorb a little bit of damage from the 33rd Recon Regiment. Uname played another Claude there. So we have no problem with this. We're going to drop our Lightning, put one of the Claudes back in their hand, pass the turn, and right now we're looking really, really good. Next turn we can get a we can do it down, or if they put out a really big bomber or something like that, then we can just put it back in their hand with a naval power. Black Watch has done its job and gotten us at least 2 cards out of it, while they also got the draw with their 33rd Recon there. We're just going to go right to, little bit of a decision here on 6, because we could put a P-38 Lightning out and use our gunship mission to snipe this Claude, and I think we're going to do that. We can do it next turn and get even a bigger bonus out of the defense, because we haven't lost any HQ points yet. So we're going to put our Lightning, it is P-38 Lightning, sorry. We're going to put that one out, and we're going to snipe this damaged Claude with our gunship mission, buff our HQ just a touch, pass the turn. So Uname has a Mitful over there, and they are going to play 2 in a row. They're going to play that 84th Infantry Regiment to guard their HQ. They're also going to guard the Claude. And then they're going to play their I-15. Oh, and I can never say the name of this one. I think it's Chaika. I believe that's how you say it. But what we're going to do here is we're going to ramp again with the War Machine. You want to play these and get the most use out of them. So whenever you get an opportunity, I suggest playing them. Then we're actually going to bounce the 84th Regiment with our naval power, goose our HQ a little bit again, and then we're just going to get in at the HQ with one of our P-38s. Pass the turn. And right now, we're looking really good while they drop the Cossacks down. The 4th Kuban Cossacks is the Soviet elite infantry. But we're looking really good right now because we can carpet bomb and 3-for-1 Uname right here, but we actually don't want to do that. We can do it to buff all of our stuff. We get a B-17 out of the deal, and then we're just going to start attacking bigger units and force attacks here. So we'll attack the Cossacks with our P-38, the American P-38, and then we're going to leave a credit on the table and pass the turn. We're going to force Uname to kind of chew up some of his units into ours because we have another we can do it. From the People hits our American P-38, then they attack it with a Claude. So a 2-for-1 there. Then that I-15 comes in and we get rid of that, so that's fine. We're going to ramp up to our last spot with the last War Machine. And right now we're going to, let's see, I think we're going to do it. We're going to drop our B-17. We're on 12 credits and Uname's on 7. So we're going to drop our last B-17 and try and pick off the I-16 Ishik, which it does. And now we're looking pretty good. We're a little low on cards, though. We would like to find an enemy spotted just so we can always have that activated. A Bloody Sickle to their own 84th Infantry Regiment. One thing this deck is good at dodging is a lot of this Soviet removal because it's primarily air units. The M16s are our only ground unit that we have in this deck. So they have the KV-1 1941 out there, which is a pain in the butt, but we can take care of it. And we're actually going to bomb it. Yeah, we have enough credits to do this. So we're going to use 3 credits to bomb it. Then we're also going to strafe it with our lightning, which leaves us 7 credits in the bank. And then we're going to use a We Can Do It to heal everything up, draw a card, which is another lightning. And we're feeling pretty good about our position right now. We just have to start getting after the HQ at this point. We have to take advantage of our credit advantage to win this game. So opponent plays a couple more 84th regiments again, and a Type 93 to make them all a little bit stronger. We're going to use our M16 half-track that we just pulled here to actually move that front line unit back. And a good little trick is actually using the M16 plus enemy spotted. It works out really well usually. But right now we're just going to get after the HQ. So the B-17 gets its damage in, and we can't attack with the lightning yet because everything's being guarded. So instead we're just going to do another We Can Do It. And unfortunately this War Machine is a dead card in our hand now, but it's better to peel it with a We Can Do It than to peel it later in the game, or peel it on a regular draw. So they use the Arctic Convoy, draw 2. They're probably going to try and they're definitely going to take the front line back here, which is okay. As long as we can keep our B-17 rolling in, we're feeling pretty good. Now, they do have 2 fighters in the back line right now, but here's really what we've been saving up our carpet bombing for. Multiple units that are going to cause us trouble. We do want to scoop them up. Right now, though, we're actually going to take this opportunity to set up an enemy spotted. So we're going to play our lightning and get rid of the front line 84th Infantry Regiment. Then we're going to attack the Type 93 with our M16 and get rid of it. And we're going to set up our enemy spotted. And then since our B-17 has so much toughness right now, or so many hit points right now, I think well, no, actually what we're going to do is we're going to move, sorry, I was getting a little ahead of myself here. Actually, yeah, we're going to use the B-17 to attack the I-15. The reason I'm doing that is because the I-16 that comes after it gets scooped up with the carpet bombing that's coming in just a little bit. And we don't take any damage to our B-17 because of its heavy armor. So we want them to take the front line. Perfect. We get to draw 3 with our enemy spotted, see what we get. Alright, and we have all kinds of goodies now. So I think it's time to, let's see, we want to soften up this, we want to soften up the 84th. So we will do that with our M16. Now we will carpet bomb and get rid of almost everything. So 3 for 1, our opponent. And we are also going to move our lightning into the front line, mostly to negate this Joseph Stalin II, which is an elite Soviet tank, because now he's going to have to attack through that with this Joseph Stalin in order to get back to the front line, and then he can't attack our bomber. So we'll activate another enemy spotted and we'll pass the turn. Now, UNAM's caught up to us on credits, but our aggregate credits that we've had throughout the game are so much more that we're really in a power position here. Down to 9 hit points on the HQ. And as we said, the Stalin comes in and they move up the 84th, which is great. We get to draw 3 again, and now we have 2 naval powers in hand, which we will use to get rid of both of the guard units here, so we can get our last 6 and then 9 in. So naval power to get rid of the KV 1939, naval power to get rid of the 84th Infantry Regiment, B-17 to the HQ, and our lightning to the HQ. And that's a victory. So there we go. Mission accomplished. So we get UNAME again. Probably the same deck, so we know what we're up against. We're going to get rid of everything except our War Machine and the Black Watch. Alright, and an extra War Machine, so that's nice. And good luck to you, UNAME again. So we'll go right into our War Machine ramp. Skip from, come on now. Skip from 2 to 4, end the turn. That's okay. We will play, well, in this case, we have a little bit of a decision to make. Since we have more cards already, and we know that UNAME doesn't play a lot of orders that are going to bother us too much, we're actually going to get our M16 out here and use this retreat order to put the I-15 back in their hand. And hopefully they don't move their Type 93 right now, and we can take the front line. Instead they use their Arctic convoy, so that's great. We're going to use our that's an interesting draw with an enemy spotted off the top. We're actually going to do it, we're going to go, interesting decision for us at this point. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go with a Black Watch, and then we're going to play our enemy spotted just to hopefully induce a front line capture by UNAME here. We'll see what happens. So they go with a double unit turn, which is totally fine. We're already up to 6. We're actually going to use this to get another War Machine out. Then we're going to, let's see. I think what we're going to do is we're going to get that I-15 back in their hand and get our enemy spotted up and running again. We bounce at I-15 with our naval power. Now they have an 84th and a T-93 in their support line. And next turn, they bring out the I-15 again, and then they bring out, the Japanese Type 96 25mm AA gun, which we're not too worried about at this point. We drew another War Machine, which is great. So we'll play that. Then we're down to 6 credits for this turn, and we have a decision that we have to make at this point. We kind of want to play a we can do it, but we really need this enemy spotted draw just to get hopefully that last the last 1 or 2 War Machines out of our deck. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go enemy spotted, and then we're actually going to put the Type 96 back in their hand because it's the most expensive unit that they have out right now, just to buy us a little more breathing space with the tempo. And then actually I think what we're going to do is move both of our units to the front line just in case. It looks kind of counterintuitive there, but right now it's really going to start to strangle the enemy units, and they attacked us with that Type 96. Now they have a Type 93 out there, so we lose all of our front line, but that's okay. Because what we're going to do now is we're going to drop a Spitfire onto the battlefield, which is the most powerful unit that will be on the battlefield, and then we want to get our enemy spotted up again. And then we're also going to put out, we're going to drop our Illustrious here. We don't get the benefit of the attack, but next turn we can play a we can do it and make these 1-5 bombers, then all we need to find is a P-38 Lightning, and we're looking really, really good. So our enemy spotter gets triggered with the Type 93 coming in the front line. More Type 93s making an appearance. That's okay. We lose both of our swordfish, but doesn't hurt us too bad. We got a naval bombardment out of the deal. We have another M16 half-track. And right now you can watch the power of naval bombardment because we're going to get a 2-for-1 out of it, plus we're going to pin that 84th Infantry Regiment. Then we're going to put our M16 back, another new M16 down, and get rid of the I-15 to start. Then we're going to attack this Type 93 and take it out with our Spitfire, just because that's going to cause us problems in the future, and we might as well get rid of it now while we have the opportunity. So UNAME has a handful over there. And they drop a KV, I believe that's the 1939 version. Yep. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put the Lightning onto the battlefield and put the KV back in their hand. Attack the HQ with our Spitfire. And then right now we're not too worried about this 84th Infantry Division, so we're actually going to attack it with our M16 and maybe induce another attack from it on the other side. We do leave a couple credits on the table there, but we'll pass the turn. So a Bloody Sickle, that'll hit our M16. Another Bloody Sickle, that'll hit our M16 as well. That's okay. They put the KV back out there, but now we have our Flying Fortress, and we're going to clean up these 2 units, and then we're going to get probably our Corsair out there and maybe buff the whole team. I think that's the plan right now. So let's use the Lightning against the infantry. We use the Oh yeah, that's right. The M16 is being guarded, right? Or the I-15 is being guarded right now. Well, okay. What we can do instead is, let's see, let's attack the KV, take some damage with our Spitfire, but then we will just put a we can do it out there and get some of that damage back. If the KV wants to come and attack our Spitfire, more power to him. We have backup in hand, so we'll pass the turn back with 2 credits left. So the KV comes in and trades off with our Spitfire. .33rd Recon for our opponent, and a Claude. And some more guard units. So right now, what we're looking for is our carpet bombing. We just got to find it. So we're going to put our Corsair out there. And let's see. We're going to... Let's see. We have 6 total. So yeah, we'll attack the I-15. And we'll put out our P-38. We'll pass the turn. So the Claude goes down to our Corsair. Then they use the From the People on our Corsair, so that's a 3-for-1 for our Corsair, because it's destruction ability. Alright, and then let's see, that's the ISU 152, so it deals double damage to the enemy HQ, which is our HQ, of course. So here's what we'll probably do. Let's use our P-38 to take out the I-16. Then what we're really going to do is we're going to flip a coin for the B-17. Yep, that's what we're going to do. We're going to flip a coin with the B-17, and we get the big tank. Get lucky with that one. We'll take it. And then we might as well do a strafing run with our Lightning because we have 2 we can do it's in hand that's going to heal us right up. So they bring out the, I believe it's the Schneiden. Yep, the N1KJ Schneiden. So that takes out our B-17, but look who's back. So we could clear the enemy's hand, or enemy's battlefield right now. I think we're going to play a We Can Do It first, just so we have some healthy units and some more information. Alright, so that gives us some more opportunities here. So let's see, we're going to use our, let's see, we have 6, so we got to go 2. We could flip a coin again. No, I think, yeah, I think we kind of need to flip a coin again. Yep, we're going to play our Death from Above. Let's see if we get the Scheiden. We do not this time, but that's okay. We'll shoot the Scheiden with our gunship mission to start. And if he has the ability to make this a 14 attack and beat us, then UNAME wins this one. If not, then we're feeling pretty confident. So a Hein attack and a From the People, but we peel another gunship mission, and we're going to take out the Scheiden with that. And then we're going to put our B-17 down to take out the Hein. And we'll attack the HQ with our P-38. Pass the turn. It was a pretty powerful turn right there. So, From the People, and maybe another From the People. Yep. Alright, so now we do need a little bit of help. Let's get our other P-38 out there, and we'll do another We Can Do It. Draw a card, and we could have used that carpet bombing a little while ago. Because this KV is going to be a tough nut to crack. We can do it though, and we have to start getting the attacks in, because our top decks for our last 13 cards are pretty good, but they got through both of our B-17s, and they just dropped their big unit on the field. So we have to get this guard unit off the field quickly. Let's see. And then we're actually going to do a carpet bombing here to get rid of it and soften up that Joseph Stalin. And that gives us lethal on board for next turn. So this Joseph Stalin has to attack one of our P-38s. It does. Alright, so the M16 can put the infantry back in hand. Attack the HQ again. The Lightning can put the Stalin back in hand, and then we can pass the turn. And right now, they have to take out both of our planes in order to finish this one off, and they decide not to. And all we need is a naval power. I was about to say it. Naval power or the other Lightning. So we naval power the 84th back, and we'll get in there with our Lightning and finish this one off. So 2 in a row. Good start. And we'll wait in the queue a little bit extra long so we don't have to play UNAME again. So hopefully we get a little bit of variety, but good win. So back here for our third one, playing against multi-core this time. And we have really an ideal start here. War Machines, exactly what we want to see in our opener. Enemy Spotted is something we want to see in our opener. And either our P40 or our Black Watch we want to see in our opener. So looking good. We'll throw those two back. Draw similar stuff, but that's okay. Start by activating our countermeasures, playing against multi-core, and they're playing British, so probably not going to get to fire off that Enemy Spotted right away, but we'll see. No, instead, turn 2, we'll run out the War Machine, get it started, jump from 2 to 4. Now hopefully we didn't squander our... Okay, that's fine. Because actually, instead of our P40, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put our half track down and put the 40-second rifles back, and then we're going to put an enemy spotted up there. And then the well, frankly, I'm a little surprised to see a 25 pounder, but that's okay. We're happy to see a 25 pounder out there, because we'll just death from above that. And we'll move our M16 up and take a little bit more of an aggressive stance in this one. T-34 85 out there for the opponent. So right now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to play our P40, make it an enticing target, and instead of attacking the T-34, let's see, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards in hand, and then it actually goes down to 4 cards in hand if both of these enemy spotteds are going to pop off, and that should give us a ton of card advantage. That should go very nicely with our ramp that we played so far. So they attack our half track and probably, I would guess, move up. We'll see. Calculated risk on our part. We could have played another unit to the battlefield. Alright, they go with a skua instead. Alright. Well, let's see, we're on turn 7 here, huh? Because we really want to get an enemy spotted off here. Well, let's flip a coin, see if we can get the tank. We get the tank, so good news there. Then we'll put the M16. No, we won't put the M16 down. Actually, yes, we will put the M16 down, put the skua back in hand. Our P40 will probably take another poke here, but that's okay. If we can just find a we can do it, it gets healed right back up. And now everything that the opponent plays at this point gets +2 operation cost. It looks like they're playing a Fury deck right on time with the we can do it. So let's actually play our we can do it, heal our P40. And a Spitfire coming down next turn looks grand. We'll move our half track up and we'll activate one of our enemy spotteds. Because both of those tanks could attack us, but the amount that it will require to move them makes it probably that, yeah, they're going to just start putting units out, which all get hurt, or they don't get hurt, they get, the operations get pushed up by the P40. Alright, so we have, let's see, 2 more spots to take with our ramp. Let's see, what else do we have access to, though? Let's see, we are going to definitely want... The 40-second rifles always heals itself at the end of turn, so we could get rid of it. And that actually might not be a bad idea, because the rest of these we can handle pretty easily. So we're actually going to attack the 40-second rifles and get rid of it with our gunship mission. Because with the Fury unit really indicates that they have bonuses for their power buffs for their team. So we're going to get a Spitfire out there and activate an enemy spotted. Because we're going to try and get rid of the last War Machine in our deck at this point. It's the only dead card in the deck. Now, with the operation costs as they are, they're just going to keep pouring resources into getting rid of our P40. And hopefully we just find another we can do it. And we would love it if they took the front line here. Doesn't look like that's what they're going to do with their last 4 credits. Well, maybe they will. Great. We'll take 3 cards. Thank you very much. Carpet Bombing's a great one. Another B-17's great. And unfortunately, they've had enough and they scoop it up. So 3 games, 3 wins. Looking good so far. Everything working pretty well. The rank keeps going up. So we'll see you in the next one. All right, back here for number 4 in the ramp video series. And we're up against Sax Brycer. I know this is a double S, but I think that's how you say it, Sax Brycer, or Saka Brycer. So good luck, Saka Brycer. What we're going to do in this case is actually it's better to throw away a card like Blackwatch in an attempt to get the War Machine in your hand to start. Even though we could have kept our Blackwatch there, it's actually more important to make sure you have the War Machine to start. We also would like to see an enemy spotted off of that. But right now we have 2 return to hand orders, a death from above, and once the density of good cards in our deck will hopefully bail us out here. So let's get things started with the War Machine, 2 to 4. And the opponent played a Type 93, and they're also playing a Japanese deck, so they're probably going to be pretty aggressive, so a lot of our sweepers should make a big difference if we can find them, if we can survive long enough to take advantage of our credit advantage. So peel another War Machine off the top. That's perfect. Let's play that and go from 4 to 6. Now we would like to start seeing some units coming off, because our opponents played the Me Too Regiment and a Panzer 35T, and this is great. We definitely want to see a P30. We rather would have seen a Lightning in this spot, but we'll take a P38. We're going to take our beats on our HQ for a little bit, but we're going to start strafing and killing things with that P38, and that's really hopefully going to sustain us. So they move up their Me Too Regiment. They play the Rising Sun, so they draw 2. Another Rising Sun, they draw 2 more, so they have the card advantage over us, but they're down to 1 credit. And they attack our P38, killing their Panzer, which is great, and we pull maybe the perfect card for what we're looking here. Pull Carpet Bombing. Now we can just set this Carpet Bombing up and really take it to the enemy here. So first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to naval power the Me Too Regiment back to their hand, which puts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards in their hand. So we're actually going to naval power also the Type 93 back to their hand, which actually gets rid of the Type 93. And now the card they're going to draw, they don't actually draw. So we actually kind of made a removal spell out of those, or removal order, excuse me, out of those naval powers, and they've seen enough. They're done. So back here for our 5th one, going for the 5-0 right now. We're up against Epic Kaugomu. Not the opening hand we want to see. We're actually going to throw it all back. Hoping for the War Machine and an enemy spotted. 2 War Machines, so that's good. So we'll go 2 to 4, and then 4 to 6. As long as we're not under a lot of pressure, and we're playing against a German player with Tripoli, so Germany can go one way or the other. They can either go very aggro, or they can go more of a controlling route, and looks like this one might be more of a controlling build. So War Machine, go 2 to 4. And they play, that's a 980 Volks Grenadiers. So we're actually going to We're actually going to play the M16 and put the Volksgrenadiers back in their hand. We could have played the P40 there. Um, we're going to take a little bit of an advantage of tempo here and use our credits and hopefully draw out a removal order here. Okay, no problem. They play the 15th Cavalry Regiment, and they also play the 28 centimeter Coastal Howitzer. The Coastal Howitzer provides a little bit of a challenge for us. Um, we do have our coin flip that we can play, but instead we're going to play our War Machine, go from 5 to 7, move up our half track, and it's going to probably soak up a hit from this howitzer. So what are you going to do though? Because right now we need to find a carpet bombing to get rid of it. Or we can, well, I guess next turn we'll play our Spitfire, which lives through its attack. Well, let's see. We drew another War Machine, so I think actually we're going to take advantage of getting way ahead on credits. So play another War Machine. Then the P-38 actually survives an attack from the Coastal Howitzer. And next turn what we can do is soak up an attack with our P-38, do a we can do it, and get in there and take care of the howitzer. So they have the Panzer 38 or 35 or 38. I always get them backwards. Panzer 35T, which they probably should just attack us with. We'll see if they have any buffs for it. They have the Sendai Regiment, which on deployment removes an enemy unit until the Sendai Regiment leaves play. So that's a little bit of a pain. And we're falling behind here a little bit, so we really need a carpet bombing to catch up. Let's see, how are we gonna... Let's see, we can put out our half track and get rid of that regiment over there, get our P-38 back. And then we can actually drop, let's see, we're actually going to put a Spitfire out. It's probably going to get everybody's attention, but if it takes care of one of these frontline units plus an attack from the Coastal Howitzer, then it's done its job. This is a little kind of more of a bigger build of Japan, Germany. Usually see these two powers combined to be really, really low to the ground. That's what we saw last time, and we handled it pretty okay. But right now we just need a carpet bombing to just get us back in this one. We have tons of options though. Plus this we can do it. It's going to make a big difference if we can get the next turn with our battlefield intact. This Spitfire is going to cause a lot of problems for the howitzer, I think. And we got them in the pickle barrel right now. They go back with the regiment, get rid of our Spitfire. Then they attack and attack our P-38. So they attack our HQ. Alright, and there it is, the carpet bombing. Let's see. The best way to do this one, because we want to get our P-38 out there. We just don't want it to get roughed up by this Volksgrenadier too much. First things first, we're only going to have 2 units after we play our carpet bombing. And we'll get our Spitfire back too. So let's play. Well, let's see. You know what? We're actually going to wait a turn and see if we can induce. See if we can induce a couple more units onto the battlefield from the opponent here. We get rid of the T-38, and I think we're actually going to play our Death from Above and see what else we can get with that one. So next turn we can drop our Carpet Bombing, get our Spitfire back. We have lots of options. And we're hoping they commit a couple more 3 toughness or less units to the battlefield right here. And the other thing that if we get in a real bind is that our P-38 survives 1 attack from the Coastal Howitzer. So either way, we can get rid of this Coastal Howitzer and still be doing all right. That Death from Above could hit any of those 3 units and we would have been happy. So they use a Tactical Strike and a Howitzer attack. And let's look like they're playing another unit to the battlefield, so that's great. And we're going to use our... Do we want to use our Carpet Bombing or do we want to save it for one more turn? These are the questions you got to ask yourself. We're going to use our naval power to put the howitzer back in hand. And we're going to move our half track up to the front line, excuse me. Then we're going to put our P-40 out. And it's going to force an attack on our M16 and take out, well, maybe not take out the regiment, but take out the Panzer Grenadiers if they're going to be coming in. And we also make that howitzer less effective. And this is all said with we still have our Carpet Bombing. We want our opponent to commit more to the battlefield. And we want to maximize that Carpet Bombing. We're looking for at minimum a 3 for 1, hopefully a 4, or if we're really lucky, a 5. We also don't have any card draw in our hand except we can do it. And this is kind of a spot where you can make the argument that this deck needs mobilization, which is a 5 credit American order that is draw 3. It just says draw 3 cards, which is a very powerful card for a deck like this. All right, we waited too long with our Carpet Bombing, but I think we're going to be okay still. We're going to use our Lightning to get rid of the Panzer 3J. We're going to do a We Can Do It on all of our units. And we're going to attack the HQ and hopefully induce an attack from the enemy. So now that we know they have that team pump, we have to make sure that we play around it in the future. So another Panzer 3J coming back out, but it's very expensive to operate now. And I think this might be the first time Epic Cowgo Moo has played against the P40N5. And you don't, on the surface, a lot of people underestimate it. They don't really think about how much of an effect operation cost has on cards. And wow. Okay, so a couple of things we're probably going to do here. First, we're going to play our Lightning on the regiment and get our Spitfire back. Then we're going to use our Lightning this Lightning to shoot down the Panzer Grenadiers. Then we're going to use our naval power to put the Panzer 3J back in hand. And then we're going to get an attack in with the P40. And now we're going to pass the turn. So now you're going to imagine that the regiment's going to come down and take our P40 away. But it's lost all its buffs. So next turn we have our carpet bombing to get our P40 back, plus hopefully we can scoop up a couple more units that they commit to the battlefield here. And we have a 6 power fighter, which is really a 3-turn clock to get this game over with. It's actually kind of a 2-turn, well, kind of a 2-turn clock, because we have 9, 12 worth of attack on the battlefield right now. And hopefully we get one more. Okay, so a well-played blackout there. That's going to slow us down for sure. But, you know, stuff like this, the gunship mission, we can shoot down one of those Panzer 38Ts, get a little bit of HQ hit points, and we're just going to pass the turn back. Alright, that's something. The 88 can get picked off. Oh, shoot. What a great card. What a great job by our opponent right there. What a great play. Okay. So, we can still get a lot done here with our carpet bombing, which we are going to do this turn. I believe it's time to play the carpet bombing. Gets rid of both of these. Then we're going to use the damaged light. Oh, it has ambush too, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, in that case, we're just going to play our enemy spotted. And hopefully they move this 88 up to the front line. Well played by our opponent right there. That was very well played. The getting the 88 out there and then also pumping it immediately. And they get that coastal cannon back out there. They're in a pretty powerful position right here. Shoot. We kind of needed them to move there a little bit. That would have been very good. Shoot. We're in a tough spot here. Alright, we need them to trigger our enemy spotted so we can draw a card here. I have a feeling they're going to move the Panzer. So the card draw is more important. We are going to lose at least a lightning on this turn. And it's interesting, I haven't seen too many of the 88mm flak cannons played recently. It's a pretty good metagame call though, because planes are pretty strong right now. So hopefully they move up that Panzer. We need the card draw. Alright, great. That's helpful. Great. Great. Okay. So the gunship mission will take care of the flak cannon. Or it could get us our P40 back. And hopefully they just leave it in the support line, because otherwise that turns off our gunship mission. So we got a little lucky there. And we got a little lucky with that draw too. Naval Bombardment is a great card for us right here. So first things first, let's gunship mission down the 88. Then we're going to, let's see, our HQ can take the hit right now. It has smoke screen, that's right. Alright, well, let's see. We're going to do a we can do it, so we draw another card. Half track's great. Put our half track down and put the regiment back in their hand. And that's going to do it for us on this turn. We can take a hit or two from these panzers, hopefully draw them into the front line, and then pin them with our naval bombardments. So we'll see what happens here. Our opponent's playing very well, playing around a lot of our stuff. Probably going to take out our P40 again. That's okay. Our carpet bombing's turned back on for that. Our opponent's just playing solid big units all over the curve. All right, a couple of naval bombardments will keep us in this one. Let's see. First thing we want to do is get a Spitfire out there. Then we want to take out the coastal cannon. Then we're going to use our naval bombardment to pin the front line. Get rid of the 15th Cav. And then we do have to weather this other Panzer, but I think we're looking okay again here. It's been a pretty good battle back and forth. Haven't seen our B-17s yet either. That's something important to keep in mind. And hopefully they'll move up that other Panzer. We'd really like it if they move that other Panzer up so we could pin that as well. And right now we're really looking great if we can find our other carpet bombing. We're looking really, really strong right now. So let's get, first things first, our other naval bombardment, buy us another turn on the front line and get rid of 2 units. And it gets everything in carpet bombing range. I think we're going to get in at the opposing HQ for 6. And then we're actually going to get another Spitfire on the battlefield here. Because the frontline units are pinned. The artillery, I would guess, is going to take out our lightning here. But that, again, reveals the artillery to us, and then we can take it out with a Spitfire. Yep. Pinned units in the front, can't do anything just yet. Alright, a Black Watch. A Black Watch is pretty good. We're actually going to put it next to our HQ since it has guard. We're going to use this Spitfire to take out the artillery. And actually, let's do a we can do it here. Gives us a card draw, which is helpful, but it also gets our Spitfires healthy again. So even if they are attacked by what our opponent has in their front line, they will survive at least 1 attack, so they're both good for 2-for-1s again. Alright, a good card for our opponent there. The 22nd Infantry Regiment for the Germans will help them draw perhaps out of this, but they are down to 14 cards in their deck. We only have 11, but we haven't seen a B-17 yet. And a Blitzkrieg, but that's okay because they have to go through our Black Watch, which takes out, unless they attack it with this one, so they really should attack Panzer IV into the Black Watch to destroy it, and then they get 15 points worth of damage. Instead, they're only, well, I guess they get 16 this way, unless they go after our units, which, you know, that's okay with us. Let's see, how are we going to do this now? Well, let's do a gunship mission to the 22, so they can't draw off of that anymore. Let's take out the Panzer with our Spitfire. And we're actually going to hold on to this naval power. No, let's do it. Let's naval power the regiment back to their hand. And then they have to make a decision. They're down to 12 cards now. We have 10. but we have a pseudo sweeper, plus we have another carpet bombing, plus both of our B-17s in our deck still. And you got to figure they have a tactical strike in hand, or if they don't, they're looking for one that'll take out our Spitfire, and that'd be tough because they get to draw off of it as well. That's a good card. The Panzer there takes out our Spitfire, but there's our carpet bombing, and right now we're going to play coy a little bit. Hopefully they don't have any discard. We just want the maximum commitment to the board here. That's okay. We can take care of a Panzer with a naval power. I think we're gonna actually put the regiment back in their hand one more time and force them to just play it again. Chew up a couple more of their credits. Hopefully get them in a sense of security a little bit. And now we will play our naval bombardment. Just gives us another draw, gets rid of one or more of their threats on the battlefield. Plus, it sets up our carpet bombing to take out that Panzer. And this is a pretty good epic back and forth. Okay, a dead card off the top there. That hurt a little bit. We have the HQ points to give, though. So, wow, I haven't seen one of these yet. The Panzer IIIe. Alright, we're down to 13, then we'll be down to 5. I think it's time to carpet bomb everything. Then we're also going to Death from Above, the Panzer. And now they're down to 7 cards plus 5 in hand, so we're down to 5 cards in our deck though. So we know 2 of them are B-17s. Wow, they had another one of those. Didn't see that one coming. Wow, and they really sandbagged some good cards in their hand. So flip a coin with the B-17. Alright, took out the anti-air. Actually, we don't want to turn on... Oh, yeah, we do. Because if we can get all the other B-17 out there, then we can take care of the enemy HQ. Great game, though. Great game back and forth. Haymakers on both sides. Alright, so we're going to have to win the game within about 2 turns here, which we can do because we just drew a bunch of good cards off the top of our deck. So let's get our P-38 down and play our HMS Illustrious. We're going to take out both of their support line units and hit the HQ for 7. Pass the turn. And now they need multiple removal orders here. They have 1. They have 2. Blackout is a very good card. So we are going to start taking some HQ damage here. But I feel pretty good about our position still. Alright. So we got to go with our Flying Fortress. And now the regiment is essentially negated right now. They're also out of cards in their deck. So they have one card in hand versus two B-17s, a P-38, and a P-40 that's going to come back down. So their last card better be something really incredible. And we get the surrender. So we end up surviving. Wow, great game. Great game by Kaugumu there. Fantastic game. And I think that's going to be a really good one to finish off our series on. We end up with the 5-0. And, thank you for the game, Kaugumu. And we'll see you back for the wrap up. So back here for the wrap up with our ramp deck. We ended up going 5-0. We played. The last game was epic. The big Japanese German deck there. That was a pretty good throw back and forth. We ended up getting our cards in the right order at the end, so that was really it was a great game. So great game, Kaugumo. I think you can see the power of the War Machine with this one. It makes a big difference when you can be playing ahead of your opponent. When you end up when you're on the draw and you're getting extra cards, plus you're jumping ahead of the opponent, it's really difficult for them to catch up at all. Enemy spotted, very important card to get early or late. If you can get that front line clear and induce somebody to come in and play into your enemy spotted, that's a big deal. The one thing I will say about this deck, it does have a lot of special and elite cards in it. If you look throughout the piece that we put on the website with it, we do try and make up for that with some standard and limited cards, so you might not have a P40. So a good replacement for that is actually a couple of A20 Havocs. They don't do exactly the same thing that the P40 does. I mean, it's a standard card versus an elite card, but that A20 Havoc can do at least an impression of um, the P40. And Blackwatch, you can't really replace either. I played with the Ultra a bunch, and that was a good card, but that's an elite card. So that's a tough one to replace. The Lightning is also very difficult to replace. It has a very unique ability, so hopefully we get that on more cards in the future. We'll see. And then the B-17s actually can also be replaced relatively easily by a combo of B-24s and B-25 Mitchells. I like the Mitchell a little bit more for the Flying Fortress because it has a similar deployment ability. It deals 3 damage to a random enemy, so most of the time you're going to pick something off with the Mitchell. So that can kind of replace the B-17. Carpet bombing doesn't really have a replacement either. It's a pretty tough ability to replace out of anything that's not Soviet or some of the other. Well, there's not a lot of sweepers in the game. This is probably the best one, and so that's hard to replace. If you want to drop the curve a whole bunch, you can replace it with a couple of desert rats. That might be a way to go and just be a little more spot removal heavy. The Corsair, you didn't really get to see it in action all that much, but this Corsair can really be switched out for the standard issue Corsair, the F4U1C as opposed to the 1D. Not much of a difference between the two. You do get a bonus with the destruction ability on the 1D as opposed to the extra point of toughness or defense on the 1C. But the core of the deck, the War Machine and the We Can Do It are standard and limited. That's the ramp package, and then you have all kinds of good targets. Once you make those moves, it's just important to keep in mind that this deck goes from 2 to 4, and then from 4 to many different directions most of the time. But the most important thing you want to do is to go from 2 to 4. That's your that's your advantage. That's your plan with this deck, is to get that 2 to 4, and then have a bunch of good four or two orders on 4 that you can do, or 2 orders on 5 that you can do, that pulls you ahead enough. Enemy spotteds can be replaced for convoy HX 175s if you're in a pinch and you're just trying to put something together. HMS Illustrious can come out, and you can put a skua, Blackburn skua, in that spot, and you'll be okay. Another really good part of the deck, I think you saw its power, is naval power, no pun intended. That card can just tempo an opponent out of a game, and if you play it correctly and they're trying to survive with guard units, that can get them out of the way while you can get the killing stroke in there. So the core of the deck, War Machine and We Can Do It. Then you need some card draw for sure, some spot removal for sure. Sweepers are important, and then you need those big haymakers at the top of the curve that get the job done when you're out there playing it. So I'm getting a little tired. You can hear it in my voice, but hopefully you enjoyed it. If you like our content, please share it and tell your friends. Talk to us on Discord. Tell us how to make it better. And then also make sure you enter our giveaways, either following the Twitch stream at twitch.tv/Ben Myers, or enter the content creation contest, or you can support us on our Patreon at the $2 a month level. This is the lieutenant level. You get early access to the podcast, and you also get entered in those giveaways. So thank you everybody for joining us this week. If you want more about this deck, or you want to send in your own creations, feel free to do so. Our email address is cardspodcast@gmail.com. That's it for us this week on What I'm Playing, and hopefully we will see you next week.